Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to LinkedIn Tuesday. It's October 21st, 2025. We're very glad you're with us today. Please note this event is being recorded, and the recording will be on the Career USA YouTube channel for others to view in the future. By participating in this event, you give consent for your name and picture to appear. Please note that any comments you put in the Zoom chat window will not appear in the recording. For everybody who's on Zoom, please feel free to put in your name, position you're looking for, give us your email address, your LinkedIn address, 2 or 3 target companies that we may be able to help you with, because you never know who else is on the call who'd be able to help you a little bit. And if you've got companies that you can help other people with, please list those. So because like you said, you never know who we can help. LinkedIn is all about connecting with other people, so I encourage everybody to connect with everybody else who's on the call today. Well, good afternoon, everybody. My name is Jeff Morris. Back in 2008, I started a website called careerdfw.org, a website to help those unemployed in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. In 2012, I launched careerusa.org to help those around the United States. I have written a book called What I've Learned About Your Job Search That You May Not Know. It is available on Amazon. If you see me in person, I usually have copies with me. Since 2007, I've been facilitating and leading the North Dallas Plano Career Focus Group. The group's been around since the late 1990s. I took it over in 2007 when the prior leader landed a job. We've got a really good session coming up this Friday that I'll tell you about at the end of this session. And since 2017, I've been a member of the PIT crew, also known as the Practice Interview Team. If Don't wait until you have a real interview to practice interviewing. Schedule an interview now. Practice early, practice often is their motto. For more information, you can go to dallaspitcrew.com. Well, we have 4 outstanding speakers who talk about LinkedIn. They rotate through on a monthly basis. Today, our speaker is Ruth Lipsky. She's a career coach. She works at Lee Heck Harrison, helping job seekers on a daily basis with all the issues that you deal with. And today, she's going to talk about LinkedIn tools for job seekers. So, Ruth, thank you very much for being with us, and it's all yours.
Thank you so much. I appreciate everything that you do in order to support all the people who need to be looking for a new job and finding a better way, an easier way to be able to do that. So today we're going to be talking about the tools that LinkedIn has created simply for job seekers. And there are a couple of them, but let's start by taking a look at how the recruiters are using LinkedIn. Recruiters more and more are going directly to LinkedIn in order to find the candidates that they want to interview rather than posting a job out on a couple different sites, a couple different job boards, leaving them there, getting a whole bunch of absolutely miscellaneous responses to their job posting, having to sort through with their applicant tracking system to find the real candidates, and it's just time consuming for them. So instead, they're taking a look at LinkedIn as one huge database of reliable, accurate, interesting people to look at. And when they're on the LinkedIn Recruiter software, they're going to start with a basic search. They're going to put in a title, a geographic location, and skills. Even if this is a fully remote job, quite often they still put in a geographic location because they want to know where that person is and may give preference to people who are in the same time zone as most of their other employees. So when, in this case, they've put in a project manager position in the greater Chicago area, who has skills in business strategy and analytics, they are given 42,798 responses that could be a good fit for them. Now, since LinkedIn never does anything randomly, the best candidates are going to be at the top. And LinkedIn is going to score each candidate's profile and determine whether it is worth putting them in the top section where a recruiter is going to see them, or if they only have maybe one of those search criteria, they're going to be put at the bottom. The first thing the recruiter is going to do is they're going to try and use the spotlight features that are going to filter down and find the candidates who are more reliably interesting to them. And the first one they use is this open to work. And open to work is going to let them know that here's a person who is willing to discuss a new job. They're not going to have to be talked out of it. They're not going to have to wait and give extra time to their current company in order to pass on knowledge. This is a person who's ready to change jobs soon. And that's what the recruiter is going to be looking for. Makes their life easier. They're also going to look, do you have any connections to our company? If you are connected to anybody within a company, it's assumed that you know a little bit more about the company, about the culture, about the products, and it'll make you an easier move into their company. If you have expressed an interest in the company, and if you are active on LinkedIn, those also figure into the actions here. So, taking a look at this, out of these 42,798 using a basic search, once the recruiter puts in a couple of filters on, are you open to work? Are you connected to anybody in our company? Have you expressed any interest in our brand, our company? It's sorted down, and now we've got a reasonable number of people for the recruiter to look at. Notice how little information LinkedIn gives a recruiter. It's going to provide the name and the headshot. It's going to give the current headline area, the area right underneath the person's name, um, current job title, past two job titles. That's not a lot of information for the recruiter to be able to make a determination as to whether this truly is a good candidate for their job. So they will be clicking and taking a closer look at this person. They'll normally take a look at the top people because LinkedIn is saying these are the folks that we think are verifiably reasonable to look at. But after that, they're going to scroll down through maybe 100, maybe 200 of these people. And the only thing that is going to get their attention is the headline area. So if you're talking to a recruiter, you have to use the headline area, the area just underneath your name, to provide a strong reason for the recruiter to click on your profile. So making that, we're going to be talking in our agenda for everything that's in the top section, so that because that's what the recruiters are going to see most quickly. We're going to talk about the skills, and those come in two different categories. You've got technical skills, but you also have those soft skills, those managerial skills. And we'll talk in more detail about those spotlight features that the recruiters are using in order to narrow down the field of candidates. So first, we need that attention-grabbing headline. We need a headline that when a recruiter is just scrolling through a whole bunch of information, they're going to stop and say, this is a person I want to see a little bit more about. If you have skills that are very specific to a technical skill that the recruiter is probably going to be looking at, you're going to put in a title, possibly two titles, but then you're going to put in the exact skills that you're seeing in the job postings that match the skills that you have. So if a recruiter is looking for a full stack application developer and they particularly want them to know JavaScript, this is a great headline to have. Allows them to find you a lot quicker. Now, if you are a project manager, program manager, those are very broad titles. So putting in some type of information after that that gives a feel for what industry, what type of department you're in, what type of work you did is going to be able to elevate you also. Putting in what your best skill is. For an accountant or a senior accountant, being able to say that they can increase productivity in highly regulated industries might be just the kind of person that the recruiter is looking for. Customer experience manager, once again, you can put in numbers, raise satisfaction scores. That's going to be more of an interest to a recruiter who's got that need and feels that this is a skill that is going to be needed. Now, the higher up you are in an organization, The more you have to get away from the skills and more into the strategic direction that you can provide. So, in a director level or a VP level, being able to say, I can do this, maybe utilizing this type of skill. But it doesn't need to be a director of customer relations, shouldn't have leadership communication. Those are skills that everybody in the organization needs to have. They need to be able to indicate precisely the types of things that they can do that differentiate them from other people who may have the exact same title. So look for that strategic value that you're bringing. LinkedIn has created a verification. They want to prove that you are real. And this is a huge problem in all social media, but LinkedIn is one of the few that has really addressed it this strongly. There are artificial profiles out there. There are scam artists out there that are pretending to be real people. There are AI constructs out there pretending to be real people. LinkedIn wants you to put in that verification, either using a government issued identity or your workplace, your place of business, that says you really are one of those people that are real. And quite often, you don't want to work with a recruiter who does not have that verification shield next to their name, because that could indicate that they are somebody who is pretending to be a recruiter, but actually is not. So the verification is there for your protection, but it's also there to be able to watch over and ensure that you're dealing with people who have been verified to be who they say they are. Now let's talk about the end date because that comes up quite frequently. At some point, if you no longer have a job, you need to end the job date. And it shows that you're no longer employed. After 2 to 3 months, we normally recommend that you close out your previous and you start taking a look at the next job that you might be having. But you need to be able to put in an explanation about why you're not working. And LinkedIn gives you a couple different options here. One of them is that you can add a career break, and this you can do through the experience section. And when you add a career break, it gives you the opportunity to say, I've been laid off, or I've retired, or I'm doing voluntary work, or I'm doing caregiving work if you've got a set of parents that you're working with. This is a reasonable thing to put in, but LinkedIn looks at this and says, you're still not employed. And when a recruiter is doing a job search, one of the filters that they use in that job search is I want people who are using these skills that I think are important for success in this job in their current job. And if you don't have a current job, LinkedIn can't find you. So instead of adding a career break where you say, I'm not working right now, you need to add a new job that says, I'm looking for a job and I have these skills. And that way you'll be able to add in a job, putting in as many different titles as you want, separate them with a pipe. Make sure that you indicate that this is not a real job. You're looking for a new opportunity. You're looking for your next role in life. So it's known to be a placeholder rather than a true job. But the LinkedIn algorithm is going to look at it and say, real job. Put as much information in the description area as possible because that's where the recruiter is looking for those skills. And in order to be able to find those skills, you've got to be able to put that information in a way that they can find it. So let's take a look how that looks. In the experience section, you're going to finish up your more recent job, and then this plus allows you to add a position or a career break. The career break, use this if you have gaps in previous years. So if you had a 3 or 4 month or a 6 month gap between jobs, fill it in with one of these. It's an explanation of why you weren't working during that time. And it's a pretty comprehensive list here. But if you are currently looking for a job, you're going to click on the plus and you're going to add a position. In that position, it allows you to put as many titles as you want, separating them by a pipe so they're more searchable. It is required to put in a company, but it doesn't need, since this is a free form field, it can be anything you want. So it can be your last name and put that as the company, as an enterprise. Or you can put in open to work. And people have put in placeholder companies that allow you to put in the type of work that you do, the industry that you're in. So if you wanted to put in an open to work using one of these placeholder companies, you can do that, or you can create your own statement. It does allow you in the description area to put in up to 2,000 characters worth of information. You can put in all of the information that you had in your most recent job. So whatever bullet points you had in your resume for your most recent job, put them in this placeholder job because you need to be able to fill this up with the skills, with the information that is going to allow you to be found. And then save it. Now, when you're in this area, you can also take a look at the titles that your company gave you. And quite often, the company gave you a title that doesn't necessarily reflect what you really did, or it was not a title that necessarily translates to other parts of the industry or other parts of the areas that you're interested in. So at Lee Hecht Harrison, my title is career consultant, but it's also known as a career coach or a career counselor in other parts of the workforce. I put in all three of these so that I'm translating my title into things that are going to be an exact match for a recruiter who is looking for that particular role. Exact match titles come up higher in the search than a family title that'll show up, but the exact matches come up higher. So being able to translate your title is going to be key because it's one of the key fields the recruiters are looking for. Now, the other thing you need to know about your titles is that the title that the company gave you isn't necessarily what you did and what you were asked to perform in that job. And you can put in other titles that are more descriptive of what you actually did. So, in my previous role, Senior Manager of Training and Development was my title, but the 12 people who reported to me had a mission to move all classroom training into virtual training. And in that role, I became much better as an instructional designer. I can do e-learning development much better than most people can. Bragging there, but got pretty good at that one. So I put those in the title field, which indicated although this was my official title, which you need for your background check, here's really the titles of the work that were performed and that I feel can be considered to be the job that I had at that time. So there's nothing that says in your title fields that you have to keep only the title that the company gave you. Make sure that it is readable and understandable by people who are doing a search for something that is very specific. Okay, on that one? Okay. So, career break, excellent thing to have if you've got gaps in the past. If, however, you have left your job and you are looking for your next job, create your own placeholder job so that you'll always be able to be found by the recruiters who are looking for a skill in a current job. And we just talked about how to expand the titles in the experience section. Utilizing the titles that LinkedIn has standardized is generally a really, really good idea because recruiters, regardless of what their company called that position, recruiters are going to use a LinkedIn standardized title in order to search for people with the skills that they're looking for. And LinkedIn has standardized 6,000 titles. So utilizing those are going to be a better match for you. And you can find those titles in a couple different areas. And let's go back to LinkedIn. In the open to work area, LinkedIn allows you to put in job titles. And in the job titles, you can have up to 5 of them in this section. But when you add a title, LinkedIn is going to give you the titles that they have standardized. This is not a free form area. You can't put in a title that your company gave you if it was not something that is understandable by other companies. So being able to find what the normal titles are or what the alternative titles in your job family are is going to be an important part of being found by that recruiter. Talking about skills, that's one of the issues that we have because LinkedIn is asking the recruiter to put in the skills that they feel are most important for success in that job. You've got the ability to put in a lot of skills, and as an individual, you've probably got 1,000 skills. You have to identify the ones that are most needed in your next job and are going to be the ones that recruiters are truly going to be looking for. And one of the ways to find that is to go into linkedin.github.io Career Explorer. This is an area that is not part of your LinkedIn profile. It is a separate LinkedIn section altogether. That's going to be, and Jeff, can you put that in the chat so people can have that? But what this does is it allows you to put in a job, and let's say it's going to be a program manager. LinkedIn is going to give you all of the skills that are associated with a program manager. And these are the skills that are probably going to be the ones that the recruiters are searching for. These are in order. The top ones are the more important or the more frequent needs for this role. The ones at the bottom sometimes vary based on what type of job you've got, what level it is, and what the responsibilities are. So finding the skills that seem to be more associated with that job are going to be an important part of bulking out your LinkedIn profile with skills that are really needed for that role. Now, also on this page, it says, if you're a program manager, what's your next step? Well, what it's telling you is that a program management specialist, 88% of the skills are the same for this job as for this job. And it'll tell you how they overlap and which ones are unique to this job versus the other. It tells you that there are some skills you need to build if you're going to be moving into this as your next job. And it will give you a series. And in this case, these are how closely they match to the skills that you currently have in this job. But you can also do searches for, I want something that is going to be really unusual. And well, in this case, Scrum Master might not be much of a, but academic administrator, solutions architect, being a consultant. So utilizing this is going to allow you to see what skills LinkedIn feels are associated with success in your job and the possibility that you could move to other jobs based on your skills. And Mark, you had a question?
Yes, how did you, once you got to that link, how did you pull up the different titles, jobs?
Okay, let's go back up to the top here. This is going to be, did you get this link right here?
Yes, I got that.
Okay. In this, you can either skip to the area that I went to, or you can go through their explanation here.
Oh, you have
And
to
here
scroll down. I didn't see that part. Thank you.
you can scroll down or you can skip the explanation. But what it's saying is that a restaurant server and a hospitality manager and a sales coordinator all have similar types of skills that are needed. And since there's more and more talk about skill-based hiring, being able to identify the skills that you've got are going to be important to finding the next job that is going to be associated with your success. So once we get down into here, it defaults to the Atlanta metropolitan area because it's alphabetical. You can put in any city throughout the world. Keeping it in the United States is probably going to give you better information, but putting in a job will give you the opportunity to put in a lot of different types of roles. Which will then give you the skills that are associated with that over on that side and possibilities for your next career match over here. On this same set, it's got information about the future of work. It's got some workforce data. It's got a LinkedIn blog, which can be interesting when they're talking about some of the new features. So a good page to take a look at, but this is the most valuable one because everybody suspects that when a recruiter is doing a search for payroll supervisor and is saying that they want somebody who knows about payroll taxes and ADP payroll and benefit administration. LinkedIn might also be taking a look at, well, here's some other skills that are good. We're going to push people up with those skills also. So the more skills you have in your profile, the easier it is for LinkedIn to be able to judge how closely you match what could be that person's true need. LinkedIn does not talk about what's part of their algorithm. They don't want anybody to game the system, but everybody also knows that this really is a matching and AI and a game that allows you to get through the applicant tracking system into the hands of a recruiter. So they're trying to be ethical, but not everybody is buying into it. So if you're looking for skills and you're trying to prioritize the skills that are important for your next job, that's a good site to be able to look. Let's take a look at the spotlight features. And the first one is the hashtag open to work. LinkedIn created this before the pandemic. And they did it because since probably 2020, 2015 or so, there were a lot of massive mergers and acquisitions. And when two big companies merge, there are a lot of people who are just sliced out of the organization because the master company already has people that can do that work. And in this era of mergers and acquisitions, there were an enormous number of people who were highly qualified who got laid off simply because they were in a department that wasn't needed for the continued operation of that merged company. LinkedIn said it's okay to be unemployed. You shouldn't be ashamed about being unemployed. That's the way things are now. And it used to be that recruiters and a lot of other people felt that if you were laid off, it was because of poor performance. And that certainly was not the truth. And then when the pandemic hit and companies were resizing to get down to their core business in order to survive the pandemic, whole swaths of people got laid off then too. So the people who are being laid off, if you were involved in layoffs 15 years ago, 20 years ago, you may still have that feeling of this person deserved to be laid off. If you lived through and did most of your work in the last 15 years where massive layoffs were more the norm, then you know that it's been in the wrong place at the wrong time, as opposed to a performance issue. So taking a look at this, on the negative side of having the hashtag open to work banner, some people still think that that's a sign of desperation and that it's because you were selected to be laid off because of performance. That seems to be 20 to 25% of the recruiters and the hiring managers that are out there right now. That number of people who look at this as a negative is going down, but it's still out there. You need to be aware of that. On the positive side, LinkedIn created this in order to give you some benefits. And by creating this, it is actively moving you up in searches and is actively bringing you to the attention of other people so that you're getting more recruiter outreaches, you're getting more messages because of that. And LinkedIn is also telling us that there are a lot more networking opportunities. That when people see that you're open to work, that gives you a certain empathy with others, and there's more contacts there. So, your decision as to whether you want that banner or if you want this as just visible to recruiters. But remember that if you don't have it as a banner and you only have it open to recruiters that are using the LinkedIn Recruiter software, only about half of the recruiters that are using LinkedIn to find people are able to afford the LinkedIn Recruiter software. So you're losing some of the recruiters who might be interested in finding you. And Jeff, do you have any? This is one where it's always hear other people. Jeff, your thoughts as to should you use the hashtag open to work? Should you use that as a recruiter only? What are you saying?
I say you should always have, if you're out looking for a job, you need to put the open to work on there because you never know who's going to see your profile and go, oh, I really enjoyed working with Jane. She was really good at what she did. I'm gonna call her up and let's network. So it can't. I don't think it can hurt you to have that on there.
Okay, thank you.
But
Jeff
the
hears everything.
But the very important thing is it's fine to put that open to work banner on there, but you've got to make sure then you're in your about section that you put your phone number and email so that people can contact you. Because if they can only contact you through LinkedIn InMail, there's less than 9% of people actually respond to that. So make sure you make it easy for people to reach out to you.
Perfect. Love that too. The other thing to know is that LinkedIn ages information on your profile. And this is one of the areas that ages pretty quickly. After 2 months, LinkedIn ignores the fact that you've got that hashtag open to work on, whether it's visible as a banner or not. Every 2 months, you need to turn that off and turn it back on again so it resets so that LinkedIn recognizes that you're still looking for a job. And why they picked 2 months, I have no idea because it's hard to find a job in 2 months. But be aware that you do need to reset that. It's like a light switch. You turn it off, you turn it back on again. You may lose some information in there. Just add the part in that they've decided to take out. But most of LinkedIn does age, and every 2 months, you need to change something in your headline so that it's either in a different order or you're using different words. You need to change that open to work, and you need to change the first sentence of your about section, unless you've got really good analytics. And if your analytics are strong and continuing to go up, keep the about section, but absolutely change the headline. So let's talk about mutual interest. Companies want to know that you're interested in them. They are going to give priority to somebody who is interested in them. And there are three ways that we are able to show that we are interested in a company. You're going to follow the company, you're going to click on the interest button, and you're going to connect to employees. So let's see how that all works. When you're on your LinkedIn page, you're going to be able to put in the name of a company up here. Could somebody give me the name of a company they're interested in?
You can either unmute your mic or just type it in the chat window.
Collinson.
Collinson?
Yes, Ruth. Collinson, I believe.
This one right up here?
Yes.
Okay. Most companies have a LinkedIn page. And when you click on their name, it will stay on LinkedIn. And this is the LinkedIn page for this company. A little bit different than the page that they have on the web for public. But in here, you're going to be able to follow the company. And when you follow the company, you're saying, I want to hear more about your company. Every time you post something, put it on the homepage. So I can read things on my homepage about new products that are being introduced, changes that they are making in their organization, people who are being promoted, employee engagement activities. This is a good way to be able to say, I'm interested in your company. But then you can go into the About section here. And in the About section, oh man, this doesn't have it. Okay, let me try a different one. Let's go with a bigger one, Amazon. Once again, going to the company page on LinkedIn, you would still want to follow, but in the About section on this one, you've got a box that says, are you interested in working with us in the future? This starts your handshake with the company's recruiter, because now you're going to be brought up to the top of the searches because you've already indicated that you want to talk to them. And recruiters have a horrible time going through long lists of people. You have the skills. Would you like to talk? And they say, maybe, maybe not. Here you're saying right up front, if you have a position open, even if it's not posted right now, if it's something that comes up in the future, keep me in mind. So not every company has this, but if you are looking at a list of companies that you're interested in, go out and see if they have it and click on I'm interested. So follow the company. If they have an I'm interested, click on that, but then go over to the people side. And on the people side, it is going to tell us about the 1,999 employees of Collinson who have a LinkedIn profile. And the information they give us are where they live, where they studied, and then use the arrows up here. What they do tells you what department they work in if you want to start narrowing down to the people who you might want to be most interested in connecting to. What they're skilled at, what they studied, I really don't care much about, but it does tell you if you're connected to anyone. Now, if you've been on LinkedIn for any period of time at all, you've probably noticed that you don't keep track of where everybody ends up because people move into other companies and you lose track of them. You could end up with first-degree connections in a company that you are just now considering as a possible next career. Check and see if you have any first-degree connections, and if so, contact them. Let them know that you're looking for positions within that company. Maybe you've applied. Maybe you've got an interview coming up. Ask them what kind of questions to prepare for. They probably remember what they were asked. If you only have second-degree connections, and let's take a look at the 25 second-degree connections that I have. Here they are. LinkedIn gives these people to you. And you can look through them and say, this might be somebody who I would want to connect with. Product strategist looks like a good person for me to connect with because I am close to that type of field. Never use the white connect button on your laptop or computer because the white connect button is going to say, let's connect on LinkedIn. It doesn't give you the opportunity to personalize a message. You're going to click on their name or on their headshot and go to their profile and find the blue connect button. A blue connect button on your laptop or computer on your iPad will always allow you to personalize the message. And in this case, it's going to be, I am interested in career opportunities at blank because of my background in blank, blank, blank. Would love to hear how you like it there. Let's connect. It can be something very straightforward, very simple, but being able to personalize it is going to be a huge plus for you. Now, if you are on your phone and you're doing this, the button color is reversed. So on a phone, a blue connect button gives the automatic, I'd like to be part of your network, whereas the white one is the one you can personalize. You'll only make that mistake once. So second degree connections, you can contact and you can say, I see we have people in common in our LinkedIn network. I'm interested in career options at Collinson. How do you like working there? Let's connect. The closer you can get to a person with a good reason to connect, the easier it will be for them. So let's say that you're still taking a look at these 1,999 people, and you went to University of Texas. Okay. Of the people who are working there, there are 26 who have some association with University of Texas. And let's say that they were at A&M University. Now you're able to connect with these 3 people by saying, I see you also attended Texas A&M. I enjoyed my time there. I'm considering jobs at Collinson, or I have applied for this role at Collinson. How do you like working there? Let's connect. But being able to have a reason, and college alumni groups are hugely popular to connect with, because now you've got something that is truly in common. And not only can you use your college to be able to connect with people, if your spouse or your kids have a college that you think is a strong alumni group, use them. If you're paying tuition for a kid to go through college, you have the right to use that as a way of connecting and networking. So work that one out too. Don't use just your own, use any. So if we go back to Texas A&M University, here's a quick way to be able to do some networking. You're going to be looking at the alumni. And what Texas A&M's LinkedIn page is telling us, there are over 663,000 people who attended Texas A&M University and who have a LinkedIn profile. And it's going to tell us in this first list, here's where they work. And if you wanted to put in any title up here, it would tell you how many people, and it would show you who they are. Now going back to our other, can I go back that far? Here we are, back in Collinson. If you want to connect to somebody at a company, try connecting to a recruiter. These are people whose job is to connect to people, and being able to find the 13 members who are either currently a recruiter or who have been a recruiter at some time gives you the ability to get right into the folks who are probably able to move you to the recruiter who's handling that job opening. So take a look at what they are. Sometimes you will have executive talent acquisition. Sometimes you will have college recruiters. Find the one that seems to be a good fit for you, preferably in the geographic location. This is one that's got a lot of people overseas. But being able to connect with a recruiter, big time plus, because these are people whose job is to find people and to connect with people and are normally much more active on LinkedIn than most other members of a company. So easy one to connect to, try them out. It's really nice if they have the hashtag hiring. There's a purple banner that is hashtag hiring. None of these folks have it, but it would always be a nice thing because that means that they've got the ability to work on LinkedIn and are probably more interested in reacting to people on LinkedIn. Okay, Patricia, thoughts?
Yes, I have done some of this, and I just haven't been real successful, especially connecting with HR for companies within the HR department. So if I've applied to a position and I try to reach out and connect with the HR, do you have any helpful tips that would be more appetizing to these people to actually connect with you? I have
Um,
not been successful at all.
That is certainly a problem, and depending on the company, depends on how active they're going to be responding. One of the problems that recruiters have right now is that there are a lot of robots out there that if you pay them, they will apply for 50 jobs each day. And they are clogging up the applicant tracking systems for companies, and recruiters and companies are kind of pulling back from the engagement that they used to have. It used to be a lot easier to connect with a recruiter. Now, however, recruiters are being much more selective and sometimes are overwhelmed with the number of people who are trying to connect with them. Keep it up. Um, it's a good thing to practice, but although it used to be more of a 15% of the people will respond to you, it's probably down to 2 to 3% of the people will respond to you. There's just a
Okay.
certain amount of fatigue that is out there with people who are trying to connect.
Mhm.
Also, don't forget about reaching out to the manager of the recruiting department, because they'll push the resume down to they'll push it down to the right person. So sometimes that'll get you a little bit chance of uh, communication with them, because it's coming down from somebody higher up in the company.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, I even reached out the other day to someone that I had a first connection with, and she had posted, the job opportunity for visibility, and I applied to it, and I reached out to her and pinged her, and I said, I just applied, or I just applied to this position. And she said, well, just go through the process, the vetting process, because that's what she recommended to do. And I'm like, okay. So I just, it's
Not
just
very
got
helpful
me like,
there, was
okay,
it?
gee, thanks.
Uh, I'm sorry
Oh,
you haven't had better luck on that. Sometimes the recruiter will get back, particularly if you say, I applied for this job because of my background in or extensive skills in, to try and get their interest a little bit more. So I applied for this role, and give them the number too, because they're handling a lot of jobs these days. And having the exact number of that job requisition is helpful to finding you. But I applied for this role because of my extensive background in this. Would love to discuss this role further. Let's connect.
okay,
So
that's a good tip. I would say the role, um, the job posting, but I don't know that I put the actual requisition number, so that's helpful information.
there you go. But it does help direct them to a certain area for you. Okay.
Okay.
If you have a limited number of connection requests, you may want to join a group on LinkedIn. So in the search bar up here, if you put in a project manager and you just click enter and you say, I want to look at groups that are associated with project management, there are a lot of groups out there on LinkedIn that you can join. 94% of them are not active. Look for the green active group. LinkedIn does not clean up after abandoned groups that have not had activity in years. But if you request to join, there's going to be a gatekeeper for each one of these groups that is going to check your LinkedIn profile and see if it matches what they feel is an appropriate background in order to join that group. If they do join that group, then it will be dropped in to your interest area down at the bottom of your page. So it'll be showing up right here. This allows you, though, to contact any person in this group without using a message, so that you've got people in here who might be in a company that you are interested in. They might have the same title. They might be in an industry. They might have changed industries. You can take a look at who's in the group And the messages within a group are free for you because they want you to be engaged. They want you to be networking. They want you to be working with other people within these groups to try and strengthen them out. And one of the things that Jeff mentioned, which is hugely important, is that when you are looking for a new job, in your About section, your last line needs to have information on how to connect to you. You can have it as your email. You can have a phone number. Since I'm not really looking for a job, I don't put phone numbers on social media, but you can put information there that allows the recruiter to find this easily. And the very last paragraph is a good way. The paragraph above that, you can put in information, just a slight bit of information that makes you more human, something that people might connect to on a personal basis. Buc-ee's is a big one in Texas, and I do go to a lot of Buc-ee's, so there. But putting in a hobby and interest after you've put in all of the other information that you want to be able to explain what it is you do, what it is you've done, that is going to allow a recruiter to be able to find you and get impressed by you. So in your list of targeted companies, going to that company page is going to be advantageous to you because a lot of companies don't post every job on a job board. And if you are in a position that might be more of a niche position, an unusual position, you're going to need to go to the company page. And being able to go onto LinkedIn and follow the company, let them know you're interested, and then find somebody to connect to is going to be positive for you. Increasing your visibility is also going to be important. LinkedIn is going to reward the people who are active on LinkedIn. It's like a loyalty program. The more you're active on LinkedIn, the more LinkedIn feels that you're a person who needs to be rewarded by bringing you to the attention of the recruiters. So when you're on LinkedIn, look for jobs. Adjust your LinkedIn profile by adding skills, maybe adding additional information to the About section, commenting on people's posts. Those are going to be the things that LinkedIn is going to be looking for and is going to give you a higher score for your profile. You can't see the score that LinkedIn gives you, but they do calculate a score for you every single day. They also calculate whether you are likely to respond to a recruiter outreach on your message tab. If a recruiter messages you, are you interested in this role? We think it's a good fit for you, and you ignore them, then fewer recruiters are going to try and contact you because your score is going down just in that area. So even if it's a job that is completely unacceptable for you, you send back a note to the recruiter. Thank you for considering me. This does not fit into the goals I have for the future, but if you have anything that deals with this, I'd be very interested. So be polite. You never know when they're going to be needed. If you have messages from people who are trying to sell you something, you can ignore them, every one of them. Okay, Jim, did you have a comment on that?
Maybe just a question for you. If I'm supposed to respond to recruiter outreach, and to your point much earlier, and we all know it's true, there's plenty of, call it fake recruiters out there, right? I mean, I get messages that say, hey, we'd love to talk to you about this great opportunity. And I pull up their profile and they have like 3 connections. So I know they're not a legitimate person that works on roles. So I don't reply to them. But is that hurting my score when I don't reply to them? Or should I reply and say thanks, but no thanks on this particular opportunity? What's
Just
the
say
answer
thanks
there?
to no thanks. If they've got the title of recruiter, then it's a possibility that it's going to be counted against you if you ignore them.
Okay.
That's another, I had no idea. I am the same. If they don't have like 500 connections, I usually don't engage. I don't think that and especially if they don't even have a profile image of themselves, I don't.
Just the thanks but no thanks is probably enough on that one.
Okay.
You really don't want them to be coming back to you, but you don't want your score to be going off the rails either.
Okay.
Matthew?
Thank you. That's a good one.
Yes, Ruth. I mean, I've had a lot of these come through where you can tell that they're scams. You can tell that they're fictitious. I've blocked every one of them and I've deleted every one of them. I mean, I don't want them to be anywhere near me. I've reported them to LinkedIn. I mean, if anybody who's been going to Harvard that's been a recruiter for 20 years has no connections, good luck.
That's the other way to do it, but it takes a couple more steps. But
Right,
yes,
right.
blocking
Is
them
is blocking them the thing to do, or does your score go down?
no. LinkedIn recognizes that there are times when you shouldn't be talking to people, and it's doing their best to try and identify the people who are not real, which is where that verification badge comes in by their name. But yeah, there are too many scams out there for them to keep track of. But blocking
Right.
them probably helps them.
And I've had the ones where they're just wanting to update your resume and charge a fee.
Oh, now those aren't recruiters though. So those are people who are trying to sell you a service and you're allowed to ignore them.
Okay.
But if they're offering you a discussion about a job and they've got recruiter in their title, you probably do need to say thanks, but no thanks.
Okay.
Okay, Jim?
Yeah, sorry. You mentioned the verification badge, and I wrote it down earlier. Is that like a if I want to be a bad actor, is that like a character or an image that I can type in my name and then type in this character image also, so it looks like I'm verified, but I'm not really verified, so I can fool the people that I'm reaching out to? Does that make sense what I'm trying to ask?
No, it's a separate field altogether. So it's not part of your name. It's actually something that is added to this, but it is not one that
I hear you. On your profile, it's a separate thing, but if I don't do the separate thing, but that's a character I can insert in my name field somehow, it will look as though I have that badge.
it could be.
Maybe.
It could be. You're right.
Okay.
So
It's probably the
one
mouse
more thing.
over. You could find out.
Probably. You're right. All right.
Yeah, if you scroll over it, that it does pop up verifications.
Yeah. So to your point, I need to look for that scroll over when I see somebody that I think potentially is
It can
fake.
help, yes.
Yeah. All right. Thank you.
I had something to add to that. I've been scammed plenty of times, and the first thing they do is when you want to report them is to make sure you provide a copy of the URL to their profile and a screenshot of who they are and any messages they sent to you, so that LinkedIn can block them.
So take a couple screenshots when that does happen. That's
Yes.
a good thing to say. One of the things you can do also is to take a look at the More feature here, and at the bottom it'll say about this profile. And when you click on about this profile, it'll tell you how long they've had a LinkedIn profile. If they've only had it for a couple months and they're a recruiter with 10 years of experience, that's a red flag also. And then the verifications will also come up also.
Thank
Okay,
you. That's
Florence?
good information.
Yeah, I have a question in regard to connecting because I just tried to connect and to send a personal note. And when I attempted to do that, it basically told me that I only had one more custom message left. And I was clicking on the blue one. What am I doing wrong?
Oh, there's a limit to the number of connections LinkedIn is going to allow you to do for free. If you've got a premium package, then you can connect with more people or more per month. But that's why you go into a group, if at all possible, and do your connections within a group if they are of similar backgrounds and industries. Irritating,
So,
isn't it?
yeah. Now I have a question. Do you know offhand how much the premium is per month? Is it expensive or is it?
I think the premium version's like about $40 a month. but
expensive.
it doesn't give you, it gives you a few more in mails, but not a lot more. There's another version that the version up from that apparently gives you unlimited in mails, but it's restricted because LinkedIn is owned by Microsoft, and Microsoft is trying to make money off of this.
Okay, so it's best just to try to stick with just best to stick with just the free for right now, because $40 is like, if you're not working, you know, $40 can
It all
add up
amounts up,
quickly.
doesn't it? Yes.
Yeah,
Um,
and I have used premium before, and I really, you know, didn't. I mean, it's been a while. I mean,
the 1 month premium
I've been working at
is,
this previous company for 13 years. I just got laid off.
there you go. If you wanted to try it for a month or two and
Okay.
see if that makes any difference in your ability to connect with more people who you think are important, or if you think that it does give you more information on the jobs tab. So if you're on the jobs tab and you are taking a look at the jobs that are out there, on the right-hand side where they have expanded out, it will show you more about how you match. It'll give you more information about the company and the company's hiring patterns. So premium does give you more information about the companies and the skills, and allows you to add to your profile based on the feedback that it's giving you.
Does it give you a lift? I mean, does it put you in a higher ranking, or does it just?
It
it's
can
basically
bring you, it will give you a little bit of a boost. It's not as big as some of the other things that we've talked about, though.
Okay.
Florence, if you're military or like a military spouse, you can get a free premium for a year membership if you're associated with military.
And you can renew it.
Well, that's a good thing to know, too.
Yes, but you know, you got to go through the re-verification process, but that's not too difficult.
Got it. Okay, let's just make sure that we understand active means active on LinkedIn, that you respond to recruiters, that you update your LinkedIn profile on a weekly basis. If you want to upload a resume, you can do that. And if you work in an organization with recent layoffs, in other words, if a lot of people within this one company are suddenly very active on LinkedIn, LinkedIn is going to give you a boost in order to get you in front of people. And some things that are more people-oriented or human-oriented, just some things listed here.
Does when you get an endorsement, do those give you a boost at all, or is it just, I've heard you should have at least 5 recommendations.
Well, now the recommendations are different from the endorsements.
Oh yeah, I'm
Endorsements are-
sorry, yeah.
Okay. That's an important thing to talk about, though, because if you're taking a look at your skills, in your skills section, you can put up to 100 skills here. But when LinkedIn is doing a search based on what the recruiter is asking for, LinkedIn is only going to be able to see the skills that have an endorsement associated with it. So if you have skills that you've added to your profile and nobody has endorsed them to verify that that's a real skill for you, then you've lost the LinkedIn algorithm. A human eye will be able to see it when they come on, but you won't be brought up unless you have that endorsement to the skill. Recommendations are also going to be important. They give the biggest boost on LinkedIn because they require a lot more time and effort in order to create one. Giving a recommendation is as good as receiving a recommendation. So if you're concerned about not having enough recommendations, you can give some, and then you can ask for them to write a recommendation for you. And it's better to give them a lot of detail when they're going to be, so in this more button right here, request a recommendation, LinkedIn is going to say, Hi, can you write a recommendation? This is ridiculous. You've got 3,000 characters to ask for a recommendation. And being able to say, could you write me a recommendation that deals with my leadership, my creativity, and particularly this project we worked on where I did this, 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 and resulted in this, 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 and use these skills. Write the recommendation for them for the most part, but 3,000 characters allows you to write a book in this area. So give them plenty of ammunition so they can write it back to you. And then at the end, you can say, in return, I enjoyed our work together. I'd be honored to write a recommendation for you.
Now, this is Florence. I have a question on recommendations. Do they always stay or do they eventually go off of LinkedIn?
They
So if I wrote a
stay,
recommendation,
they stay forever unless you take them off. So you can edit them and you can remove them if you want, but you can't change the order of them.
This past weekend, they also had some kind of a bug, and it removed all the recommendations from everybody's profile. So
Oh my goodness, didn't know that.
we
That's
we
terrible.
noticed that on Friday, and I entered a ticket, but it was resolved over the weekend. But I learned you can download all of your information, and you go to your settings and download. You can download everything really, but you can especially download your recommendations and keep those, if you need to, as your data.
Got it. Okay. Any additional questions or comments? Good discussion, folks. Well done.
Turn this back
Okay,
on
Jeff,
so
back
can
to
hear
you.
me. Well, Ruth, thank you very, very much. Here's one of Ruth's ode profiles. She keeps changing it every few months, so I don't keep my slides up to date. But if you want to reach out to Ruth, please feel free to reach out and connect with her. And you're welcome to reach out and connect with me also. Next week, our speaker is going to be Terry Sullivan. He's going to talk about how to tell your key contacts and prospects who you are, what you do, and how you can help. The event will not be recorded, so if you want to watch Terry, you will need to watch him live, and he talks fast. I'll just tell you that. He's a fast talker, so join us next Tuesday at 1 o'clock. Whoops. Here we go. The practice interview team tomorrow is meeting online only. So if you want to join the practice interview team from wherever you are, you can download via Zoom link. You can watch one of 3 different interviews they have scheduled. So there's nothing in person this week, but the first, second, third, and 5th Wednesday of the month, they do it in person. On the 4th Wednesdays, they will be online only. And then this Friday at the North Dallas Plano Career Focus Group, Ashley Thomas will be with us. She's going to talk about resume writing tips, and she will be doing live resume critiques. She's going to look at up to 20 resumes and offer feedback. So if you're interested in being one of those 20 resumes. I'm not sure where our count is so far because we can only do 20. You're welcome to send me your resume and then you can join us this Friday. You're welcome to join the Career DFW or careerusa.org LinkedIn groups. I started both of them when we started the websites. The Career DFW group's got over 16,000 members. Once again, as Ruth said, you can contact any one of those 16,000 directly without using one of your required emails from LinkedIn. This session has been recorded. It will be on the Career USA YouTube channel. You're welcome to subscribe to the channel. That way, when we post a new video, you'll find out. On the Career USA YouTube channel, click on playlist. Every video I post goes into one of 7 different playlists. And don't click on the video, but click down below where you see that red arrow, view full playlist, and up will come a list of the different, in chronological order, the date, the speaker, and what the topic was that you can go back and watch. If you're not receiving emails about our workshops and you'd like to join the Career USA mailing list, you can just scan this QR code and just hit enter. You don't have to put anything in the body of the email, or you can send a blank email to Career USA, the + subscribe at groups.io, and you'll be added to our list. You'll never be spammed because I control the list and only I control the list. So 1 or 2 emails a week is what you'll get. Please know, Career DFW, we're a 501c3 nonprofit organization. Ruth is a volunteer. I'm a volunteer. Everything I've done over the last 15 years has just been to help you land your next great opportunity. So thank you very much for joining us, and everybody have a great day. Ruth, once again, thank you very much. Everybody have a great week.